Also, very warm welcome to Erika Bernacchi from Istituto delle Innocenti in Italy. Erika Bernacchi is Associate Professor of Educational Sociology at the University of Florence. Her research topics are gender stereotypes in education, gender-based violence, masculinity, and post-colonial studies.
Thank you. Thank you, VMG and Ellie in particular for organizing this fantastic event. And because my intervention is going to be about the peer education and peer-to-peer approach, I would like to start by saying hello to the young people and peers who are here today. We are very glad of having you here. So, hello to you in particular. So, as it has been said again and again in this conference, we in this project have been working on the concept of caring masculinities as an antidote to hegemonic masculinity. As Maida said in the transnational report that you can find online, we have been working on this concept. As we know, the norms of hegemonic masculinity deny the vulnerability of men associated with feelings of powerlessness, shame, and fear, and push them to constantly prove their self-confidence, strength, and invulnerability to themselves and others. And this makes boys and men more insensitive to violence and less sensitive to the vulnerability of others. And this is why we have been calling on men, and especially boys, to act as agents of change, to question the norms of hegemonic masculinity, to interrogate themselves on gender-based violence. Why we think that peer education is important? Obviously, we know that this is a methodology that is based on the idea that the learning process for adolescents is easier if education intervention is carried out by young people who are not so distant in terms of age, experience, and power. So the power differential is lessened in relation to a more traditional teaching setting. Peer education started in the US to promote health education. It was later used in conflict mediation, and it has been used increasingly in social and educational settings. But why is it so important to use peer education, especially working with boys in the prevention of gender-based violence? This has been recognized also by UN Women, the agency of the United Nations dealing with women's rights, and they have been stressing that precisely because hegemonic masculinities promote unequal power relations in which some boys exercise power and control over their peers who are perceived to be weaker, and in particular girls and other minority genders, it is crucial to work on a peer-to-peer approach in the school culture to prevent gender-based violence. And also Michael Flood, who is a scholar in masculinity studies, stated that school peers can play vital, positive roles in discouraging young people involvement in violence. So what we did in the project was, first of all, to analyze existing projects that have a peer-to-peer approach involving boys in preventing gender-based violence. At international level, we all know that the first big campaign was the White Ribbon campaign initiated in Canada already in 1991, which is still active in some of our countries. For instance, in Italy, where I come from, and Bulgaria, there are still some projects based on the methodology of the White Ribbon campaign. And then we have identified other projects, for instance, in Austria and Germany, the Peer Think project, Expo Iguales in Spain. And based also on the lessons learned from those projects, we have been devising a training package for peer educators in all the countries involved in the project, We have been training peers, and we have addressed subjects which include gender socialization and identity, masculinities, emotion and violence preventions, and obviously the different models of masculinity, especially comparing hegemonic and caring masculinities. We have been working with active and participatory methodology, including role play, including the theater of the oppressed. We'll have a chance to see in a while what this methodology entails with Olivier Malcor, and also with the use of pop culture. So this training has been appreciated a lot by our peer educators. For instance, this is a quote from Anton from Austria. "I found this kind of opportunity important because I felt free by expressing my thoughts on sexuality issues and my opinion on sexual orientations without feeling like I was saying something wrong." And in turn, then the peers, they have been doing peer training with students from their school, normally a bit younger than them, and they have in turn addressed issues such as gender socialization, gender stereotypes, sexual orientation, gender identity, models of masculinity. They have also been working a lot on issues like feelings, emotion, dealing with anger, and they also address the issue of romantic relationship. These are some images from their work. Here is another quote from Lana from Slovenia. "Conducting workshops has made me even more aware of the importance of opening conversation about gender issues and giving young people the opportunity to express their opinions, doubts, or concern." So, is it all good? Just to complicate a little bit the picture, when we involve boys in preventing gender-based violence, we also have to be aware of a contradiction, which is the risk of using male privilege in order to combat it. This is what some scholars say. For instance, Perez has been warning us about this point. So it is important when we do this kind of interventions to involve boys without creating a sort of pedestal effect. And this would be when we give undue attention to male protagonism to the detriment of the recognition of women's engagement, which has been taken over many decades. This is just to say that we need to bring together boys' involvement as agents of change with girls' empowerment and all genders' empowerment. And these are again the very beautiful posters that were shown before. And allow me to finish with like a 1-minute reflection about an event which took place in Italy. You have already been talking about femicides in Austria. We have had a case of femicide in Italy of a girl aged 21, university student. She was killed by her ex-boyfriend. And this case of femicide has attracted an enormous attention in Italy, as no other femicide did before. And the reason why I'm quoting this case here is because yesterday there was the funeral of this girl that was attended by 8,000 people, and the father of this girl, he acknowledged the root causes of gender-based violence. He mentioned patriarchy, but most of all, he called on men to be agents of change. And he literally used the words agents of change. And when I read these on the news yesterday, I was having lunch here in a bar, and I was so emotional because I couldn't believe my eyes that he was using the same words we use here in expert conferences, and I think this is very important because this means that these concepts are becoming more mainstream and could be really a turning point. Ellie, you were saying before, culture changes slowly, but there are some moments in which culture changes more rapidly. So hopefully this is one of those moments, and we all wish this. And so thank again to the peers who are here. Thank you.